Hey, it's Mark Postles here, and I wanted to talk to you about burnout busting. So, if you want a copy of the checklist, just comment burnout buster below and we'll make sure you get it. You've probably noticed that many chiropractors feel frustrated and somewhat unfulfilled. Things aren't measuring up to what they thought they'd be, they're not where they thought they'd be by now, and it's a pretty common feeling. Um, Unfortunately for some, it's like right from graduation. It's maybe a legacy of trauma from the chiropractic college, and in fact, attrition and people not even continuing the profession is a common thing, and it doesn't have to be. It's sort of like we reach a glass ceiling sometimes, and that glass ceiling is often, in fact, I'd say always, below what we're capable of. We can attain far greater things, but we seem to be banging our head against this glass ceiling, and we get frustrated and nothing seems to shift, and we go to all the whiz-bang seminars and take all the courses, all the tricks and the tactics and the promises that the promise of fame and fortune and within 2 minutes sort of thing, and it's like things stay the same. There's a common feeling of sort of drowning, that's practices a struggle, and particularly we've got the additional impulse of college debt and always needing to get new patients and resenting the hours spent with unappreciative patients who just leave as soon as they get better. So it's not cool, and yet it doesn't have to be. So when it comes to the so-called burnout, many chiropractors make a big mistake in that they think that burnout's from too many options or too much focus, too much work, too much not enough rest, or maybe too many problems, and it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, if we reframed it, it'll be far more useful. So the normal reaction is to pull back, is to sort of downsize, is to go to the beach, literally or figuratively, reduce the problems, get a day job, change professions, go back to university and study something else. There are a number of solutions that we have that pulls us away from what is possible within chiropractic. So if we look at it from this position, that if we said the opposite, that it's not enough options in terms of burnout, or there's not enough to focus on, or there's not enough work, or there's too much rest and too much play and not enough problems. There could be a different viewpoint that we put on it. And so I wanted to sort of explore this a little bit, because if the old adage is, if you want something done, then give it to a busy person. And busy people don't seem to get burned out. People who are passionate about what they're doing don't seem to get burnt out. So within this context, then we'll jump over here to the innate model and give you, if it's the first time you've seen this model, then I'll just give you an orientation here. This represents the brain, and there's if you like, the right side of the brain, the left side of the brain, hindbrain and forebrain. So if we look at the forebrain, and consider that that's a big picture thing, whereas the hindbrain tends to be small details. So there's big picture up there and there's small down here, and the right brain tends to be future oriented. So we go towards the future, and the left brain tends to be referencing the past. So just to give you a little mud map of that one. So within that, then, if we were to break these down, we call them literally 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we go into quadrant 1 firstly, so quadrant 1 then is the quadrant that has future orientation. So this is about looking towards what's possible. It's a vision. It's hope. It's inspiration, and it gives us a clear direction. So in terms of busting burnout, then often we run out of future. We run out of hope for what could become. We become uninspired or despired, and that is part of the structure of this burnout phenomena. So looking at it from this position, then, if we were to see hope into the future, we'd see a vision, we'd see an inspiring future, and even if it is just a holiday or a vacation or some taking on someone else into the team, or making a change within the team, maybe looking at new techniques and so forth. There's a whole range of things that we may decide is okay. I feel like I'm burned out, and I would say you're not burned out. You just have a small vision and you don't have a lot of hope. And so let's get clear then on the direction. Let's look at what your mission is. So the mission is, what is this journey all about? What are you doing here on this planet? What are you here to engage in? So this speaks very strongly then to that quadrant 1 part. So when we look at the quadrant 2 part, the ideas of the future and the direction we want to go in and the mission we're on has to be organized. And so this is the part within the left brain that says, okay, we need to have some structure here. We need to have things sorted. We need to have a roadmap for our growth. And if we're going to take this future direction, then we must have this organization. If we don't, then it all just implodes. It fades away. So we don't get traction. So within that then, from the organization, obviously we want to have some strategies. Right, so having strategies and clear roles and responsibilities brings in a level of nurture. It's a state of whilst we've created this attractive future, we need to be able to nurture that, to make it realistic, to make it functional. And so with that then, we manage this entity called time. In fact, we work within time, and we look at the way in which we can put our energy and our attention into different units of time. We call that a default diary, and it allows us then to make these clear goals and objectives and points along the way in which we can mark them off. So this roadmap then that gets structured around the future direction, the mission that you're on, the purpose that you're doing it with, allows you then to apply your intellect, your left brain, to learning and increasing your professional development and your knowledge and awareness. At that point, then we look over here into the quadrant 3 part, and this is about the skills. Right? This is where you would be delivering the thing. Now, the delivering the thing for us as chiropractors is the techniques that we're using, the variations of those techniques, the application of those techniques, and getting really, really skilled in that aspect. It's not just to take what we were taught at chiropractic college and that's the end of it. It's always developing. We're always growing. We're always applying our new skills to every person and at every stage of every person's development. So there's the people that come in and see us are different people every single time. In fact, every adjustment that we do in a given visit, the person is a new person when we're giving a subsequent adjustment. So we have to assess and adjust accordingly. So there's a huge thrill that happens then if we allow it. It's to see the impact that we're making, and there's an excitement around the impact. And if we're looking at our organic structures that support each of these areas, this idea of mission and looking into the future is the heart. Whereas the idea of the application of this is the brain. And the skills and the impact and the connection that we make with people and our communication is our gut. So, the gut and all the systems associated with that the gut brain is an important part for us, particularly as chiropractors and as healers and as connectors and as facilitators. We must have a strong relationship within ourselves, with the practice members, be transparent about that, be vulnerable, allow that to occur so that you can enjoy this dance with them, and then of course our team members and our community. So there's a huge amount of communication that's required for us to get out of our own pity party, so to speak. To allow ourselves to get above ourselves in terms of this feeling of burnout. And if we focus on the incredible skill that we have, the application of the adjustments, the impact we're making on our people and on their lives, the communication that is required with every single person, which is going to be different from one person to the next, that then allows us to go through into quadrant 4. Now the quadrant 4 part, and this is as you start to gather here, this is a sequential thing. We have the idea, we nurture that idea, we deliver on the idea, we then come back and we expand upon the idea. So the expansion here is all about change. So with the quadrant 4 part, we want to see change at all times, constantly changing. In terms of ourself and our practice, it is reinvention. And allowing ourselves to reinvent who we are, going bigger and better and faster and different, whatever the case may be, maybe smaller, whatever the case may be, that it's a reinvention of ourselves is a critical component of this quadrant 4. And then that leads us into what we would call not me. Being not me. Breaking the mold, looking at yourself from a different perspective and seeing life with a whole different new identity, challenging the old identity that others might have put upon you, that our circumstances may have created, and that in turn then allows us to create more attraction, because we then start to see into the future in a whole new way. We get new direction, new ideas, and we have what is called remission. Right? So remission is getting out of or just dissolving that down state, that burnout state, and taking on a new state. So this is a sequence of process that we can go through, because one thing's for sure is that we can't shrink ourselves to greatness. We can't get more or better or evolve by getting smaller, by getting more insignificant, by getting less effective. So we are here to shine, and our own pity party will certainly stop us from doing that. So rather than focusing then on trying to treat the burnout, trying to alleviate that by doing nothing or going to sleep or reading a book or feasting on Netflix, allow yourself then the opportunity there to expand on the gift that you have, humanity. Humanity is waiting for you. You're unique. There's no one else has ever been the same as you in humanity, and you're here for a purpose. You're here to deliver. So be excited by the impact that you alone are making, and it may be in a tiny, tiny way, but boy, it can have some huge ramifications there. So it not only prevents burnout then, but that ensures long-term success and well-being. It's the long game. It's not a trick. It's not a tactic. It is the long game. And the ability to change the state, to allow yourself to take on a new way of seeing the world, is a really, really valuable function, and it is easily done by everyone, provided we give it enough attention. So when the real cause of burnout then is identified and dealt with, then the result is significant. So look at this from a point of view that there's an increase in activity. That is that quadrant 4 part that allows for more possibility, more productivity, more money, more time, more joy. And so next time you find yourself or others, or telling yourself, actually, and often we do this internally, next time you find yourself telling yourself that you're burnt out, or say you may be telling others that you're burned out too. Know that there's another dimension to this state, and it can be very productive. So lean into this state and it will take you to the next level. So if you want to develop a burnout strategy with us, then hit reply below and put in burnout strategy, and we can jump on a call together and put together a plan for you to allow this to occur. And I tell you what, the results are just massive. So until soon, cheers.